Hip politics, baby.
His lyrics once told the story of the streets, but now his voice is shaping the future of a nation. Shyne, the hip hop legend, joins Hip Politics to talk about his journey from poor Belizean boy to mega rap superstar to his unfortunate yet transformative time in prison and how it's uncovered his purpose in life. He talks about the lessons of his evolution and his efforts to now empower his homeland of Belize and become its next prime minister. Our conversation comes on the heels of the release of Hulu's documentary, The Honorable Shyne. I'm Ashley Etienne. Thank you for joining.
Music.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to ask you anything cheesy like when did you fall in love, because that's real cheesy.
When did I fall in love?
Yeah, but that's real
Fall in
cheesy.
love with what?
Music.
Oh, music. Oh.
But we won't get into that. Let's skip that question. So,
I was born, my father was a musician.
okay, what instrument?
My father was a DJ.
Really?
Yeah, he was a DJ.
So your father also was a man of many talents.
Well, then that's the only thing that I have over him. And here.
He's bald.
Yeah. So those the two things I have.
And you're not even gray. I mean, that's kind of incredible.
I got my grays. You want to see my grays?
I'm rocking the grays.
Yeah, no, I got my grays. I'm not dyeing my hair. I'm going white. So the two things I have over my father is that I'm the most successful musician in the history of Belize. It's not just in the history of the family, but in the history of Belize. And I got my hair. So I always tell him, I always say, listen, you're prime minister, but you were a DJ. And as a musician,
You're like, cue the Grammys.
I got my certificates.
Legacy. We can get into legacy a little later. Incredible legacy.
But I think I was born in love with music because my dad. It's interesting. Very very interesting footnote is that the constituency that I'm the area representative for is a constituency by the name of Mesopotamia. And so the area representative from Mesopotamia, who was also leader of opposition at one point, and the deputy prime minister of Belize, is a gentleman by the name of Curl Thompson. And Curl Thompson had a club.
Like a nightclub?
A cotton club.
Okay.
All right. Maybe I don't have it correct, but he had a club in Mesopotamia. And my father used to DJ at the club.
Oh, hilarious.
And that's how he met my mom.
Oh, interesting.
And so yeah, I wasn't born in a drop, as I say in Bad Boys. I was born in a club. So, yeah.
Definitely conceived in one.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So
I was born in love with music.
So I want to talk about, I saw an interview that you did where you said what you rapped about at 19 is what you hope to realize as prime minister. But we'll hold that thought for now. I want to back up a little more.
Yeah.
And talk about how you, that same sort of concept, utilize your music as your activism. We've all obviously followed the rap beef between Kendrick and Drake, and the undercurrent in that conversation obviously was, you're not like us, you're not of culture.
I thought that was unfair.
Why do you think that?
Yeah, I thought that was unfair. Kendrick is a great artist, but the whole, how many, Obama was white and black. You're a red bone. You probably got some.
We all black though, okay?
But you got no. You don't got come on.
There's
slave masters somewhere there.
Absolutely, but we claim all black over here.
But no, come on, but don't.
No, but I get your point.
Yeah,
though.
don't do that.
No, I get
don't
your
do
point.
That.
No, you're absolutely
Come on, Drake was with everybody.
But I think if we
hold on,
okay.
Drake was with Kendrick. Drake brought Kendrick out on his tour, and how all of a sudden he's a culture vulture. Listen, Kendrick won the battle respectfully. Not like us,
But Drake called
that
his
was a smash. Yeah, no, I'm saying that was a smash. I don't even think the content mattered as much as it was just a smash. It was a great record. It was a hood record. It was gutter.
Okay, but let me challenge.
It was street. But hold on.
Okay.
But this entire idea that Drake is not black is BS. It's foolish. He's a mixed kid. There's so many mixed kids. Our president was a mixed kid.
But black is on a spectrum, though.
No, but
right? And culture's on a spectrum.
Excuse me. So for all of the years, for the decades that Drake has been dominating pop culture and putting everybody on, 21 Savage, Kendrick, J. Cole, Migos, countless people. He has taken along with him. He's been immersed in our culture. Losing a battle doesn't make you a culture vulture. It doesn't make you not black. Like, come on, knock it off.
I agree with that.
And then we talk about it, it's a similar story. His pops was a musician, but a failed musician. And he's just living, he's living that legacy. So like, you can't take away Drake's blackness. You could say that Kendrick washed him in the battle, fine, but you can't take away his cultural past. I reject that completely.
Well, let's just take it. Let me keep challenging you a little more, because I don't disagree with you. Actually, I do agree with you.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm getting at, no, listen, I'm a Drake fan. I mean, but
the VP is multicultural.
100%.
Like, how do we get there where we're dividing each other and we're saying because you're not 100% African, then you're not, no. And then
Okay,
to say what cultural appropriation, how so? Oh, because he's from Canada? Nobody had a problem with him being from Canada. There's black people in Canada, like, come on.
But let me ask you, what I want to really focus on is, I heard it differently, the argument, and it was, how do you utilize your platform to advance the culture and tap into the culture?
Even Jay-Z said, what was the line? Come on.
My line?
No,
Okay,
it's the Jay-Z line where he was like, about consciousness, where he's like, common sense, but I ain't been rhyming like common sense.
He said that, but he said, truth be told, I'd rather rap
like
common sense.
No, Talib Kweli. Yeah, something like that. But
but he's like, then I did 5 mil, and I ain't
common sense, exactly. So don't put it on.
I don't know that I understand that line.
Because he's saying that all that consciousness and all that, what you're doing for the culture. So how many people has?
But the reason why.
How many people has Kendrick educated?
No. Okay, but
how many scholarships has he's given out?
Hold on, wait. No, you're making a good point. Don't move from there if you don't mind.
I'm just saying.
No, don't move. Can you stay there for a second? Don't move. Okay. Kendrick has songs like "We Gonna Be Alright," song tracks for Wakanda, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's his thing.
No, 100%.
But what Drake has contributed to our culture, never forget that. And this is what I'm saying again.
Okay.
Kendrick is great.
Yes.
He's one of the greatest.
Sure.
I accept that. But I'm just saying that we're all different. Even on a football team, you have different captains. You have captains that lead by example.
Sure.
You have the captain that
serves
gets everybody.
a different purpose.
Exactly.
Right?
So what Drake has done for our culture is he's given us escapism, which we need.
Okay.
We need that.
No. Okay,
we need
but
to go to a concert.
Shyne. Can I
We
get back to a
need to go to a
19-year-old Shyne,
concert, and we need to party, and we need to
I
drink,
agree.
and we need to forget about our
But can we get back
troubles
to a
and our stress.
19-year-old
And he did that for us
Absolutely.
for so many years.
But can we get back to a 19-year-old
How can we take that away from him?
Nobody wants to. What I want to get back to
Sounds
you
like
at
it.
19, though.
Sounds
What
like
you
it. I
said
gotta
is
watch
that your music was so intentional.
But I was a different person. But how can I be? And then listen, that's the crazy thing. When I came out, and I was beefing with Drake, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're crazy." So it's crazy now that they want to beef with Drake. Because I said the same thing. I was like, "Yo, how's this kid from Canada? He's not even from America," and blah 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 blah. And everybody was like, "Yo, Shyne,
So when did you have a change
take
of
a
heart
seat."
then?
No, because the facts are the facts. And I had a problem with Kendrick too. I didn't think his album, the first album, was the best thing. And but I definitely rescind.
But we digress. Okay.
Yeah, we digress. No, I'm just telling you.
I guess what I really want to get at is do
feel
artists have a responsibility to utilize their platform to advance?
But Drake has helped so many
the
people.
plight of the culture.
He's helped so many people. He's put so many people on who have been able to put their people on. Look at Migos. Look at 21 Savage. There's countless amounts of people that Drake has put on that have been able to put their people on, which helps the culture, which has fed so many people, which has contributed to the ecosystem. I don't know what he does as far as philanthropic efforts, I don't know. You know, but he's done so much. He's done so much for so many people by way, he's never been selfish with his superstardom. He has been there every step of the way. Sexy Red.
Which gets back to the empowerment
Sexy
point you made
Red,
earlier.
you know, Nicki Minaj. He's done so much for so many people in our
But the
culture.
reason why I only brought it
He's
up
never
is
been
because
selfish with his superstardom.
I get it, but the reason why I brought it up is because
But we don't need to choose.
Absolutely,
I don't
we
need to choose between
we
Kendrick
absolutely
and Drake.
don't.
I'm saying they're both great.
Absolutely.
But I just don't agree with any, and then with Kendrick, it's a battle. So he did what he had to do as far as, you know, he tried to strip him down, but no, you know, he won. But Drake is black. Drake is Jewish. Drake is hip hop. Drake is everything. And, you know, but he lost that battle.
A 19-year-old you, I'm sorry to obsess about this. What you said, what I was rapping about at 19, that story of struggle, resilience, fortitude that I rapped about at 19 in the streets, I hope to realize as prime minister. So for me, what I was struck by, and I think for any, for any person, because this is just my own orientation, to your point, to utilize their power that they've been given to empower others. I fundamentally and firmly believe that. So what I'm asking you though is, do you think artists have an obligation to utilize their platforms to bring forward the struggles, the plight, the sentiment, the heart of the people in a culture to an audience that then brings about a level of change in their lives?
Absolutely not.
No?
No. Creativity
No?
is no.
Okay.
Creativity is creativity. How can you put all artists in a box and say, as an artist, this is what you're supposed to do? No. That is so.
Although you admire somebody like Bob, because that's exactly
No,
what
but
Bob did
that
with
is the
music.
that is the beauty of the way the universe is created. We all have different tastes. We all have, you know, a different palette. And for you to say that life is, you know, monolithic and life is homogenous is offensive to a fellow creative. It's like, no, you create what your art is, because it's art. It's not politics. And even in politics, different people have different policies. You have liberal policies and you have progressive policies. You have conservative policies and you have moderate policies. Who are you to tell any particular person what they should be? So I believe you have a responsibility to your heart and your soul to be whatever it is that you want to express in your creativity. I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. I find it interesting that these, and I do believe these two things can coexist, where you can say, I admire Manly because here's somebody that.
But how could I suppress?
Hold on
who
a
am I to
second.
suppress your
No, you're not
voice?
suppressing. No.
You're suppressing someone's voice by telling them what responsibility. They don't have a responsibility. They have a response. Art is boundless. Art is this beautiful orbit of limitless exercise of whatever you think. And who are we to say, no, you know,
Think this.
No.
Do that.
No.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to consume someone's art
do you listen to
because they're not, you know, meeting whatever you just said about
not me. I'm asking the question.
economic and social consciousness and the responsibility to lead that's
You know,
my
'cause
job.
I'm a particular
That's
age where
my
I'm like,
job.
I don't even know what these rappers are
Yeah,
rapping
but that's
about these days. Like,
well,
what are they
listen, that's
rapping about?
my job because that's who I am.
What does that mean?
No, I'm saying that's what I do. My policies and wanting to create a society for Belize to uplift. That's who I am.
No, absolutely. And you put
And I
that
think
in
that's who political servants should be.
Sure.
On either side, on the
Yeah.
conservative side, on the liberal side. But as far as creatives, no. There's some people that you're supposed to have
But you
chic.
do.
You're supposed to have chic. You're supposed to have, you know, the records where you're just dancing and you're just having a good time.
Sure.
Who said, God did not say that everybody's supposed to be Bob Marley? No.
So how do you foresee yourself continuing to use who do you listen to, by the way? Did I already ask you that? Who do you listen to?
Yeah, I listen to
female artists, female rappers right now are sort of on
no,
the
I don't.
rise.
I don't really listen to rap, but I at the top of my playlist is Wizkid and Burna Boy and a lot of the Afro pop artists, CK, Rima, Dancehall, Armani, Valiant.
Why don't you listen to rap?
Excuse me, give him my list, please. Let me give my list. Thank you.
I mean, I don't know.
Let me give
okay,
I'm giving my playlist. Let me give my
get to some familiars.
Let
fast,
me give my
okay? I got some
playlist.
more questions.
Stark Ashley.
Who?
Stark Ashley.
Oh, I need to look into
You
this
gotta listen
person.
to her.
Okay.
She's a dancehall artist. She's incredible. Stark Ashley, Jada Kingdom, another Jamaican dancehall artist. Roger Wild, Cartel, of course. But that's like in my playlist. It's Shenseea. I can't forget Shenseea. That's like my playlist right now. If I'm listening to hip hop, it'll probably be like Travis Scott, Fiend, definitely Drake, Popcorn. How could I forget Popcorn? He's incredible. He got some songs with Drake as well, but I don't really listen to hip hop like that.
Why not?
Maybe like,
Why not though?
I tell you, like, what I can't escape on Reels is Clock That T. I think I said that when I was at Howard, their Black Film Festival. But I don't really listen to hip hop like that.
Why not?
It's not. Oh, I'm sorry. I listen to like different music on different days. So like today is Sunday, so like I listen to like Luciano. He's a reggae artist. So I listen to dancehall and reggae. Beres Hammond, Freddie McGregor, Dennis Brown. So I listen to that's pretty much the range of music that I listen to. So yeah, but hip hop I'm really like I'd listen to like some old Drake. I'm trying to think what other rap albums I listen to, like The Dream. I listen to some R&B. Dream is definitely has some great albums there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't listen to hip hop anymore?
Nah.
And it's fine.
Like
yeah.
that, I
We've
mean,
all
like
grown and matured.
Sexy Red has like this one song with what is it? Nile Chopper.
Yes. There's a
I
chopper
can't really say.
somewhere.
I
Yeah, I
can't
don't
really
know
say
what
that.
all the letters
I
are.
can't say that. Anyway, that happens to pop up on my playlist, but
But you're not really into it.
I don't really listen.
You're not
to
really
rap.
into
Nah,
it.
I don't really
Okay.
listen. To
All
rap.
right. All right. So let's fast forward.
I'm trying to think. Is there a rapper that I don't really listen to rap like that.
Okay.
Who's great? I like Summer Walker.
She's great.
Girls Need Love Too. The remix with Drake.
I mean, it's fine.
You don't
okay.
like that song?
I'm an old head, like I'm an old hip hop head kind
You
of.
don't
girl.
like Girls Need Love? Oh my
It's cute.
goodness.
No, she's fine. All these girls are fine. They're great. Okay, listen. So don't get me distracted off my point. Okay. Get me mired in the conversation.
Hold
Okay,
on.
Okay.
Her. How could I
Oh yeah,
forget
hers
her?
amazing. Yeah, hers amazing. She's beautiful.
How could I forget?
Beautiful voice. Yeah.
her?
Okay,
Hers
so
incredible.
I'm curious.
YG Marley's good.
Okay.
Skip Marley's good too.
Sure. Can't go wrong.
Chris Brown.
Okay.
Davido. Yeah, Davido.
Your list is long.
I'm a musician.
It's not very discriminating.
No.
Oh, it is a little bit, but you're right. You are a musician, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
My daughter's
Actually,
playing, my daughter's playing the piano
the
now.
collaboration with Chris Brown and Drake, that song that they did together. You don't know that song?
So listen, my daughter she's a
How old is
budding
your daughter?
musician. She's 9. What advice would you
My
give her?
daughter's 7,
Cute.
going on 17.
No, yeah, I'm going on 25.
Mm-hmm.
She's a budding musician. What advice would you give
To
budding?
not listen to you as far as subjecting her creativity and having any obligation to
No, we're
anything
like a
other
Coltrane
than
house,
her
okay? That's what we're
creative
into.
spirits. I listened to some Otis Redding,
Yeah,
Michael Jackson.
of course.
What else? Marvin Gaye.
Okay. But what advice would you give her? She wants to be a pop star.
To be free.
To be free to do it.
To just do it.
And I should just
Don't listen to
encourage
you.
it.
Don't listen to
I'm
these
like,
people
be
that are
a
trying.
lawyer. You're like,
No, don't listen to these people that are telling her
There's no money in music
what her
anymore.
creativity should sound like and what responsibility she has to socioeconomic issues. Don't listen to that. Daughter, don't listen to that.
all the great humans, Muhammad Ali to Manly to Bob, have understood to, hopefully you, I mean, I feel this way about your own story. We'll see where you end up in life, but nevertheless, but all these people that have understood their life in a larger context. And that's what I've been hearing from you this entire time, because you went through an insanely traumatic experience, but that is familiar in a lot of ways. Job, right, is the first oldest book. Same story. But we talked about all these things. But anyway, but I think the people that hit a level of, even Barack Obama, a level of extreme greatness, understood their lives and their purpose in a larger context. And so I, happen to be a snob in that respect, that I would love for everyone that has power to ascend to that point and utilize it for that purpose.
But in context of what you asked about your daughter, I would invite you to appreciate the fact that as human beings, we need to escape. We need to relax. We need to be entertained. We need to forget about our problems. And music does that. So the purpose, your daughter's purpose, doesn't necessarily need to translate in the exact terms that you think it needs to translate, as far as, we should have a greater contextual ambition. No, her creativity, whatever it is, may be someone's satisfaction. It may be what certain human beings on this planet want to consume, because that's what entertainment is, that's what sport is. It takes us away from our pain. It takes us away from our lamentations. And so whatever your daughter creates, there are people out there that may very well be like, oh my goodness, this is the greatest thing that I have ever heard. And as sad as they are, as despondent as they may be, your daughter's creation, whatever that is, may be the antidote to what they're going through. So what I'm saying is, it shouldn't be for you or anyone to tell a creative what it is they're supposed to create, because within that creation is their purpose. And it doesn't have to be as deliberate as I am with, housing is a human right, overhauling the healthcare system. That's me. That's the role that I play. The role that your daughter may play is just, creating something with strings and a piano and a saxophone and, a repetitive anthem that changes someone's life because it makes, I love this song. That is a purpose.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question. What was the purpose in the album you created when you were in jail?
That album was created before I was incarcerated.
It dropped while you were there.
Mm-hmm. I made that album while I was on trial. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget literally going from court. Mm-hmm. And I was staying in the Trump Towers at the time, Columbus Circle. That's where I had an apartment. And so I would go from court, I'd go, to my apartment, and I changed. I put on my long john and put on all my jewelry, and get in my Bentley or my Ferrari and go to the studio. And I would just pour my heart out. I didn't write one song. My first album I wrote my raps. My second album I didn't write one song. I would literally just go to the studio and pour my heart out. Because I knew that would be my last album for quite some time. That was potentially, I was facing 25 years. And so I just poured my heart out. And so when you listen to that album, you listen to Diamonds and Mac 10s, and you listen to Quasi OG, which features Bob Marley, by the way.
Yes.
Dream Come True.
I know a couple of things.
Yeah. I was just pouring my heart out. Yeah, you know. Hip hop ain't responsible for violence in America. America's responsible for violence in America.
That's where I was going next, is what did you...
Black people don't own no ports or boats. So tell me how we getting all this coke?
So why would you encourage a young rapper to just make me dance when they could say something
What
like
are you
that?
doing?
When they could
What
say
is
something
wrong
like
with
that.
you?
I mean,
No.
did you hear how prolific that was?
Listen, come on.
Now that's what can move the
Why
crowd. Are you
want-
kidding? That's
No,
what
why
moves
do
the
you
crowd.
want homogeny? Why do you want...
I don't want homogeny. I
want
just want the people to be
homogeny.
empowered, okay?
But
Okay.
maybe someone listening is going to go and listen to my albums and then be inspired and maybe go in my direction, but you can't.
But that's what I was asking. I wonder what you were hoping the audience took away.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Took away from that album. Kim is wrapping us up.
Why are you wrapping us up?
Because he was like, listen, he's running out of wine.
What are you running out of?
Oh, you want to do Kamala? Do you want to do Kamala? I want to hear this first, and then we can do Kamala, and then we can re-intro, and then we can be done. Okay. You didn't have anything really profound to say about Kamala. He's a Gavin Newsom kind of guy. So I don't want to. What we can get into, though, I want to know, because you spend a large portion of your life. To your point, it's your second home. What you think is going on in America?
Right?
So wait,
She's giving me the side eye right now. She's like,
we're gonna put the America conversation on a second, but first, I would love to hear what you hope the audience had taken away from that album, especially in that time in your life as you were sort of transitioning to a very big unknown.
As far as the second album?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the second album...
To your point, it was your heart sort of on paper.
I was pouring my heart out. And if you listen to what I'm saying, I continue the conversation as a reporter, transcribing to society exactly what is happening. I was never like the Quentin Tarantino type of creative, where I was just interested in gore and, these sick fantasies of violence and murder and mayhem. If you listen to my music, I always, kind of spoke with like, man, I'm here, but I really don't want to be here. Like, is there a way we can fix this? Is there a way out of this? And so it was a conversation. It was a continued conversation. And even when things like, black people don't own ports or boats, so tell me how we getting all this coke. And talking about, CIA distributing crack cocaine in my environment. And, really getting to the root of the problem.
Absolutely.
Don't ask me, Mr. Drug Pusher in Marcy Projects or Flatbush, to solve a problem that is created by the government.
Absolutely.
Don't, come on, if you really want a war on drugs, then look no further than in the mirror. So I was, there was a conversation for people to think and for people to be woke. Like woke is it's like a evil word.
Now.
But it's so important for people to be awake.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's been a war on woke because, there are powers that be that want people to be asleep and want people to forget about our history and to forget about all that was wrong with America.
To this rap music.
Indeed. So but no. But I'm saying, but you got to dance.
You got to dance.
You got to enjoy yourself. So I was always a conscious person. I was always awake, and I was always woke, and I was always speaking about things, and having a conversation. So my thing in that album
was your dad your influence?
was to have a conversation.
Was your dad one of your influences in your ability to be woke? I mean, given
my dad
musician,
wasn't.
and he was.
My father wasn't in my life. So yeah.
How did the absence of your father, you think, affected your ability?
I think it drove me to be great. It drove me. I had a vendetta. I wanted to be successful, to show him and to show everyone that didn't believe in me that I was worthy of being believed in. And so, if anything, it inspired me to not be a statistic and to not be just another, African, Caribbean American male that was going to go to jail or die by the time of 21. So even when I was out there in the streets, I used to be like Lawrence Fishburne in Boys in the Hood, when he's like preaching to Doughboy and everybody,
in the corner,
like telling them, is this what you're going to do?
Sure, who built this? Absolutely, educating them
so
on
that
the
was
systems.
Me. That was me.
Yeah.
And so I was inspired. My father and I have the greatest relationship now. It's hard for the both of us to find genuine people in our lives, because obviously as a prime minister, everybody's telling you what you want to hear. And,
same as an artist.
And trying to get, whatever they can get from you. And and same thing with me, but I think we found a love where I love my dad no matter what. He loves me no matter what. We don't agree on a lot of things. Our policy, our foreign policy is different. Our domestic policy is different. But that's the beauty of our relationship.
Different times too.
He's very honest with me. He tells me how he feels and I tell him how I feel, but we love each other no matter what, which is like the greatest, again, it's the greatest level, such a superior level to be at, where, the father I always wanted, I have, because I understand who he is. And the mom that I wanted, I have because I understand who she is.
Absolutely.
So I judge neither one of them, and I know that they were exactly who they needed to be for me to be who I am,
100%.
with their deficiencies, because those deficiencies made me stronger.
Absolutely. It's so interesting because you've dropped so many nuggets that I hope you incorporate as a communicator. I hope that you incorporate in how you position yourself, posture yourself, and talk about yourself. I mean, this notion of that you're worthy to be invested in, I think, is just a phrase you should not let go.
I'm the epitome of you belong.
Epitome of what?
You belong.
Oh, yeah.
We all belong.
Even more than that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, this notion of people are worthy to be invested in because of their promise and their potential that's unyet realized.
But if people
and
want
how
to
you were
invest
able
in
to
you,
realize
invest
that
in
too.
yourself. How about that?
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because if you
But first you have to know you're worthy of all of that, even self-investment.
So don't sit around waiting for someone to invest in you. Invest in yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
but as a government, right? The government has to.
So what I want to do as government, I want to create an infrastructure where you don't need government. You don't need me. I want to end that. I want to eradicate that reliance on the political leadership forever. I want to create a Belize where we have critical thinkers, where we have people that don't need politicians, so they'll be voting for politicians based on the policies that they implement to keep strengthening the infrastructure that allows for self-reliance and self-sustainability.
So let's get to the states, right? We're coming off the heels of a major election. My former boss ran for president of the United States. And, folks are what I think, to say the least, mildly depressed.
Yeah.
Feeling disaffected, feeling betrayed from a lot of different fronts. You've got black women saying they're done with it.
They're going to move to Belize?
You're like, no, listen, all my black girlfriends love it here.
Excuse me.
All my girlfriends love it here.
We have a lot of property. We have over 8,000 square miles. Please, I will welcome you at the airport. I'll be your personal concierge. moved to Belize.
Black women. Okay, got it.
No, all women, all people, but in particular, black
If
women.
you're looking for a home, you can find it here. So we just had this incredible election, and I think people are in their feelings because they were blindsided. Should we have been blindsided?
Well, listen, first I'd like to say,
Kamala's amazing.
I'd like to congratulate the Vice President of the United States on putting forward a formidable candidacy and giving it her all, in democracy.
It's tough.
We need viable alternatives, and she certainly did her best to present a viable alternative to what ultimately the American people voted that they thought was the better alternative. Also congratulate the next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, who also put forward a formidable and a ferocious candidacy, and he was able to convince the American people that the direction that he wanted to take was in their best interest. So I congratulate both people, and I just, my thing is, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm a Belizean, Belize first, and no matter who the President of the United States is, we enjoy great relations with the United States of America. It's actually our number one bilateral partner, and that will never change, no matter who the president is. I'd certainly like to take this opportunity to thank President Biden and Vice President Harris for all that they've done for Belize. Certainly, I think this presidency has done more than, I'm not sure, I don't know how far back I could go, but I don't know if any administration has done as much as the Biden-Harris administration has done. For instance, in September, we did a $250 million grant from the Millennium Challenge Corporation.
Yeah, for sure.
For education and energy. And there are a host of other things that the Biden-Harris administration did. I know when I first visited the United States in 2021 in August, I met with Congressman Meeks,
Love Congressman Meeks,
who was at that time the chair of the Foreign Relations House Committee, and my ask to him was that we get an ambassador in Belize because we hadn't had an ambassador since President Obama.
Oh, interesting.
And thankfully, shortly after that, we got Ambassador Michelle Kwan.
Oh, really? I don't think I knew that.
I don't.
Awesome.
Yeah, well,
That's amazing.
I'm just telling you the facts.
Okay.
I'm not saying that it could be that they had that planned, but I know that
how can I get that job?
I met with Congressman Meeks, who is now I met with the head of the caucus, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. I met with
Two good New Yorkers.
I met with who is the head of the Congressional Black Caucus now.
Oh, Yvette Clark. All New Yorkers.
Yes,
All New
she's
Yorkers.
actually my congresswoman.
Oh, is she? Okay.
My mother's congresswoman.
My sorority sister.
Yes, I met with all of them, and so my ask was Belize, 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 and shortly thereafter we got Michelle Kwan, Ambassador Kwan, who's been fantastic.
Good.
And my hope is that President Trump will continue along those lines and make sure we have a great ambassador for Belize, and we get more investment in Belize. But I just think that that is democracy. So democracy doesn't mean that when your candidate doesn't win, you move to Belize. As much as I'd want those black women to move to Belize and invest in Belize
I just saw
and build our ecosystem, that's not democracy. You got to keep fighting. And I think I told Cam and I have been arguing, not necessarily arguing, but I've been telling him that the Democrats were I'm not a Democrat or a Republican.
Just an independent observer.
But because as I said, the Belize-America relationship transcends political parties, transcends presidents. But the Democrats have been in trouble for quite some time because the Republicans just fight harder. They were more ferocious, they were more tenacious, and that has been proven right at the polls, right? I'm just saying, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
And so with all that, I think there's a lot to learn from Trump's candidacy. And so the Democrats should not, or black women or whoever, whatever demographic feels jilted or feels hopeless, look at Trump. Trump lost, and he started fighting from the time of the insurrection. He never stopped fighting. He fought every single day until the ballots were casted. So are you telling me that the people that wanted Harris or wanted the Democrats are gonna cry and go to therapy now? Are you kidding me? No, you fight. Pick your leader. I don't know who your leader is gonna be. I'm not gonna get involved in that. We spoke off record. I'm not gonna say anything off record.
I won't say anything about your preferences either
I
off record.
I won't say anything about my preferences.
We'll keep our secrets to ourselves.
Whether it's Gavin Newsom or Vice President Harris, whoever it is, figure out who your leader is going to be and fight. Listen, I'm not getting involved in the fight because whoever it is, whether it's a Democratic president or Republican president, Belize loves America. We love the relationship we have with Americans. We thank the American people, and we thank successive administrations for always investing in Belize. But no, you keep fighting.
I think the interesting thing, why a lot of people also felt blindsided is because I think they thought they knew America. And I think they thought that, I think there's a lot of factors. One, I think we're all caught up in our algorithms, right? And like we're all living in sort of our own independent universes that aren't necessarily reality or reflective of full reality. But I do believe that people felt like they knew America. And what I mean by that is I think that what we used to stipulate to as principles, founding principles of the nation, no longer do folks feel like a whole section of sizable number of the populace is committed to any longer. Let me break it down even further, to unpack it even further. We had talked about what is being experienced across the Caribbean and even here in Belize, where many of the countries are walking away from colonialism, being, the Commonwealth, walking away from the British Empire, creating their own independence and thinking about what form of government works for them. So we've had in the United States an idea about what that means. There's a constitution foundational documents. There's an understanding of what democracy means, that law and order, no one's above it. Everyone has, et cetera. All of these things that are fundamental to who we are and what we represent in the world, I think people felt like we walked away from it in this last election. That people took a vote and they affirmed, right, not only a deplorable, what some people would say a deplorable individual, but they also affirm that those principles don't matter as much in today's America. So I think that's the betrayal. And the reason why I think Black women particularly feel betrayed by it is because we've probably, many would argue, have committed the most blood, sweat, and tears to maintaining those fundamental ideas and subscribing to those fundamental ideas. And then sort of the second tier to that is the reason why Black people got liberation and everybody after us is because we held white people accountable to those foundational ideas, who they said they were, and how those ideas are in pure violation of our own right to freedom, liberty, and happiness. So I think that is what people are feeling betrayed by. I think we fundamentally understand that racism and sexism is baked in the cake in our country, and that it's not an eradication process, but a containment strategy more than anything else. But I think this notion that we can no longer stipulate to these foundational things has us going through our own 40-year wilderness, you know, in some respects.
So what's the solution?
I think that's
The solution is not moving to Belize. As much as I love Belize, and I would love for you guys to come and invest in our ecosystem, that's not the solution. The solution is fight, to fight for those foundational principles. And I think if you go to President Obama's, I think his foundation has a democracy conference every year.
They just had it recently.
Yeah.
A couple days ago.
And because he says that democracy is not guaranteed, you have to fight for it. Those foundational principles are not guaranteed. You have to fight to sustain that. You have to fight to retain that. And you've just lost, in your humble opinion, you've lost that battle, but the war continues. And so, as much as it may have been tongue-in-cheek to say, you know, we're going to move to Belize, the point is to stay hunkered down and to keep fighting that war. And you got to figure out what your opponent did to convince, you know, the majority of people to go their direction. You have to. You can't say, you can't pontificate.
I don't want you to think I'm disagreeing
You can't
with
pontificate and you can't, you know, you can't wax to be, you know, so holy and so righteous and so right? Something's wrong. There's a reason why the message of the founding principles did not connect with the electorate. And you gotta analyze that. You have to examine that, and you gotta figure out the solution. There is a solution.
Okay, so let me equate our situation to yours.
Yeah.
We had a black president, hallelujah. Had a first black woman vice president, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Snatch you out of the situation. What you thought you had, you don't have.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're in a place where this other guy's convinced the people of what's true is not true. You're being subjugated to that. You're now finding yourself in this unknown space, understanding that you only lost the battle and not the war. And your point was you've got to stay hunkered in it. So but let me finish. Yeah. So I'm curious, through your process, because again, I think this is the most fascinating for me part of our conversation, and I would love to off camera continue down this path, but how did you, because I just think the mental fortitude and strength, I mean, I think about Paul, I think about all these other MLK and just, you know, all these people that found themselves in similar positions as you, which I don't think is very far off of where we find ourselves in our own country. When you say hunker down and stay eyes focused on the longer prize, what's your advice in how to do it, because you've done it yourself?
Resilience, resolve is guided by purpose. So if your purpose is or are the founding principles, then you have to fight for that until the day that you expire, till the day that you get called back to heaven. And you have to fight for that every day. You have to be present every day. Now is not the time to feel sorry. Now is not the time to cry. And again, I'm just telling you, as much, you see, one of my superpowers is being able to learn from my enemies, is being able to learn from everyone. And I think, you know, maybe people loathe President Trump so much that they refuse to learn from his powers.
100%.
Because his powers are undisputed. He has run one of the greatest comebacks in the history of humanity. And whether you disagree with his ideals, with what he stands for, whether you loathe him, doesn't mean that you can't learn from him and you can't, look at the playbook and say, okay, he did this, he did that. And so people can't be so blinded by their fury that they don't take a second to breathe and to learn and to employ the strategies of war that have led to your defeat, to lead to your victory. That's how life is. God didn't create the world to start and begin in one day.
Let me ask you something that might be slightly provocative, but what did you learn from Puffy?
I learned a lot of my resilience from him. I learned a lot of my manifestation of greatness, manifestation of everything, like that affirmation, belief, then going from belief to just knowing that you should be X, Y, and Z, knowing that that is your destiny and nothing is going to interrupt where you're going to go. That tenacity, that vigor, that stamina. I learned a lot of that from, being around him and him willing himself from an intern, from a dancer, to a mogul. But obviously, there were a lot of unethical decisions that he made along the way, and that's where maybe there was a perception of a failure on my part because I wasn't prepared to make those unethical decisions. And that's how I became who I am today. Because, I was able to take the great things and not compromise my soul.
And it's so interesting because even those concepts have to sustain you when you have millions of dollars in the bank and when you have absolutely nothing.
But there's a level that transcends material things.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm grateful to be on that level. So content is everything. Substance is everything. Material, it's, I don't know if you remember The Wolf of Wall Street, where he's talking about what stocks are, and he's like, Fugazi, Fugazi, Wugazi, Wugazi, doesn't even exist. And so material things don't exist. What is eternal and what is truly power are the principles, the founding principles, not of the United States, but of humanity.
So, listen, I don't know that we go anywhere from there. Other than to say, please tell me really quickly while people are watching how they can support you, the full journey you're on, how they can support you, and how they can support your country.
People can support me by just visiting Belize and making sure that they buy property in Belize.
First, tell them you're running.
No, well, this is about Belize. That's how you support me. You support me by visiting Belize, by making Belize your second home, by, just investing in Belize, everything Belize, right? And as far as myself, yes, I'm the leader of the opposition and the political organization that is the government in waiting. And, you support me by just making Belize your priority list, because then I can say to my constituents that you see how many people I have visiting Belize, you see how many people I have coming to Belize. But I do have a foundation, the U.S. Friends of Belize, and so, that could be an avenue for people who wish to help me help Belizeans. But I think the greatest thing, again, the transcendental thing, is the more people that visit Belize, it totally stimulates our economy, and that means more jobs, that means more taxes, that means more everything. And my purpose is to help Belizeans. So I don't necessarily want you to help me. I want you to help Belizeans, because when it's all said and done, as long as Belizeans are in a better place, even if it's another prime minister, that's all that matters to me. I don't have to be prime minister for Belizeans to be in a better place. I just feel that what I have to offer as prime minister would take Belizeans to a better place. But if it happens under someone else's leadership, as long as it happens.
Amen to that.
Hip politics, baby.